Hello folks, I'm Govind Garg and we are going to talk about geothermal power plants. So first we have to discuss things like geothermal energy, like what is geothermal energy so that we can move on to geothermal power plants. Then we will talk about geothermal power plants working, and after that we will talk about geothermal power plant across the globe, like how many plants are there and where are they. And then geothermal energy and world, like what's the effect of geothermal energy on the world and how it is shaping it. Then geothermal energy. Geothermal energy, we will talk about what is it, its advantage, disadvantage, why, and why geothermal energy. Then geothermal energy. Geothermal energy is heat within the earth. The word geothermal comes from the Greek word geo, which means earth, and theme heat. Then geothermal energy is a renewable energy source because heat is continuously produced inside the earth. People use geothermal energy for bathing, to heat buildings, and to generate electricity. Like in bathing in hot springs, we can use the geothermal energy, and heating buildings in the Siberian countries, geothermal energy is used for heating the buildings. Next, there is advantages of geothermal energy. Like it is a renewable resources, then it has very much potential, and it is sustainable, easily accessible. And evolution, it has evolved from the volcanic destructions to power plants, and then it is reliable, can be easily reachable, and then there is no need of any man-made present in this initiation. Then disadvantages, it is a prime reason for earthquakes, and the initial setup cost for a power plant is considerably high and unpredictable. Like recent burst of large energy surge is common. And then there is location. The location where it is present is very rare and can be found very harshly. Then why to geothermal energy? Now, across all the sustainable resources present on our Earth, geothermal energy is clearly the most efficient one. Okay, so now a fact that the European population sustain their 25% of energy from the geothermal energy by all the geothermal wells present in their locations. Then geothermal power plants, like how it looks like, what's the physical appearance of a general geothermal power plant. Then there's geography, like in one geographic condition, a geographic plant can be formed. Then types, there are basically two types of geothermal power plant which we are going to discuss. And output, like basically what kind of output a geothermal plant gives. Then this is a basic physical outlook of a geothermal plant. This plant is present in Indonesia, and as we can clearly see, it doesn't have a major concrete structure, but basically some steel exhaust which pushed out the heat. Then there is geography. Like a geography for a power plant to be established, the first thing to be considered is the terrain, the place where it is going to be. Then there's emission consistency, like how consistently the energy is coming from the earth. Like is the power plant sustainable there or is it not? That brings us to the economic factor. Like is a country in which the plant is built can economically support it and can be benefited from it. Then there's climate. Like what's the climate in the place where it's going to be. Like if the climate is harsh there, then what's the point of building a plant which will sustain damage on regular basis? Then there is supply and demand. Like if the plant is generated 200 megawatts and the country is only consuming 50 megawatts, then there's no point in making the plant. Then there's type of geothermal plants. Now there's two type of geothermal plants: dry steam geothermal plants and flash steam geothermal. Now we are going to talk about. Now first we come to dry steam power plant. Like it is one of the most basic type of geothermal power plant. Like it takes direct steam from the ground and put it into the turbine and makes the electricity. And one of the example is the geyser in North California. The temperature it uses is 150 degrees Celsius or greater. Now flash steam power plant. Like it uses a high temperature fluid which is made from the heat coming from the earth and then triggers the turbine and form the electricity. And the vapor is then directly spin the turbine which produces a generator to produce electricity. Like the high temperature fluid will make the vapors and the vapors will create a turbine. That's the basic difference between dry and flash. Then there's output. Now a general geothermal power plant gives an output of 30 to 50 megawatt, which is basically very less than a coal-based power plant, which is basically give 1 gigawatt convectionally. So that's why we need around 20 geothermal power plants to be counted against one oil-based or coal-based power plant. Now the basic working principle of geothermal power plant. So our basic working includes hot water or maybe sometimes directly stream from the earth. And then there's turbine. Turbine is rotated through steam or either water in some cases. Then the cooling system works, and then the steam is released in the atmosphere, which is excess. This is the most basic form of geothermal power plant, in which hot water is coming from the ground, then it is converted to the steam, and the steam is going to the turbine and turning it. Then the generator converts the mechanical energy into the electricity energy, and the electricity is supplied to the household. And the hot water which rotated the turbine is then going to the cooling tower, which cools it and injects it back into the ground. Now, this is a typical structure of our geothermal power plant. Like here, we will take some energy from the ground, which goes into a tower, which release out the excess energy, and then it will move on the heater, which will make the steam, and then steam move into a turbine. Turbine will generate electricity, which will supply to the household, and the excess can be given out as a steam or the water to the ground. There are many power plants across the globe, but the ones which produces the most amount of electric energy are Lodorello Geothermal Complex Electricity in Italy, and there is Quiero Petro Geothermal Power Station in Mexico, Macaban Geothermal Complex in Philippines, then there's one in Indonesia, US, and another one in Indonesia. Geothermal energy electricity in the world. Now, as we can see, the growth is exponential from the 1960s to the 2020, which clearly depicts the effect of geothermal energy on the current world. Now comes the geothermal energy used in the world. Now the countries marked in the red are those countries which are currently using the geothermal energy on the basis of their geographical condition, like are the geothermal wells are available there or not. And then geothermal energy in national production. Like Iceland uses the most amount of geothermal energy production in their national growth. And there comes the El Salvador, then Kenya, Philippines, Costa Rica, New Zealand, and Nicaragua. Now the future estimation. Now the 30 billion kilowatt hour electricity is produced in 2020, but it can be estimated that 49.8 billion kilowatt hour will be produced in 2025 as per the current development. Now there are references. Now references, as you can see, there were many references. You can watch out for that. Then thank you. And if you have any question, you can contact me on the following social media sites.